Hello everyone, welcome to the Bio 105 Lab Exercise 6. We're going to be looking at Darwinian snails and natural selection. So evolution. At its most basic, it is a change in the genetic composition of a population across generations driven by the local conditions. There are a few conditions. If a population contains variation for some character, and that variation is going to come from mutation or recombination, in this case, we have all the same species of clam with a number of different color variations. So if that population contains variation, and if that variation is at least partially heritable, meaning that can that variation be passed down to your offspring? And the differences among individuals are at least partially due to differences in the genes they've inherited from their parents. Right? If that's true, and if some of those variants survive and reproduce at higher rates than other variants do, so in this case, we've got birds that are preying preferentially on the green beetles, so we would presume that the orange beetles are going to become much more common and survive and reproduce. Then the distribution of that character will change over time, right? And that is evolution. So in this case, we have the evolution of the single large digit in horses, starting with a small four-digited horse 50 million years ago, and ending with the large single-digit horse that we have at the present. So let's run through an example. We've got the rock pocket mouse. These guys are native to the Sonoran Desert in the American Southwest. They have both light and dark color variants, and they live also in this area called the Valley of Fires that has large dark bands that are caused by a lava flow. So what's happened is you've got this population that starts out with both the light-colored and dark-colored variants. It moves into these darker lava flow areas. The tan mice are more visible to predators. All right, the lighter colored ones are going to be picked off by birds. And so those darker colored mice have a higher chance of having offspring. And so the next generation contains more of the darker colored mice. This continues to happen until that area is almost exclusively the darker colored mice. So what you end up having happening is that your mice that live outside of the lava flow are the lighter colored mouse, and the ones that live within the lava flow are going to be our darker, more melanistic ones. So let's run through our conditions. Population of mice had variation in coat color, and the variation in coat color is heritable. The MCR1 gene that controls for the amount of pigment in the fur. And some of those variants survive to reproduce at higher rates than others. So we've even seen through experimentation that this is true. They will transplant mice from the lava flow to the lighter areas and from the lighter areas to the lava flow, and they can see that the off-color mice are much more likely to be eaten by predators. So then the distribution of coat color changed over time. Mice in the dark lava areas tend to be the dark in color, and mice in the lighter areas tend to be light in color. Now, if this continued for long enough and these populations weren't exchanging genes between them, eventually you would see speciation happen, and that you would have separate species of mice. So that's our basic run-through of evolution. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you in lab.